Hey there, I'm back doing another Facebook Live. Just to let you guys know, I'm excited to share about past lives because that seems to have come up a lot in the last week or so. So doing work as a healer, you recognize patterns, and a lot of people have been asking about past lives recently, and it's just come up a bunch. So I figured that could be something we talk about today. I'm Karen Foote. I'm the owner of Rebalance Reiki and Massage. I do massage and Reiki, and I love talking about metaphysical topics of any kind. So today we're going to talk about past lives. So I wasn't raised learning about past lives. It wasn't something that was taught. I'm Catholic, so they don't believe in past lives, or I was raised Catholic. I still go to church, but my beliefs kind of go outside of the realm of Catholicism. So the earliest thing I could think of for my own experience with past life is when I was 13, I turned to my friend who also was 13. I guess we're going into 8th grade or something, and I was just like, ugh, here we go again, teenage years. And she was like, what? And I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't even remember what happened after that. I just remember thinking, oh, she doesn't know what I'm talking about. Because I just had this familiar feeling of oh, great, teenage years. So, that was, a little hint of an awareness back then, but it wasn't something I ever read up on or learned about until I was in my 30s, and I just turned 40, so just the last 10 years. But it's been coming up a lot with my clients in the last, like I said, the last week or so, and a lot of them are curious how to access past lives, and what I've been telling them was a few different ways. So one thing would be, I don't know, no, it's not in any order of importance, but a guided past life meditation. You can go on YouTube and find some. Brian Weiss is a really powerful author who wrote about his experience as a psychologist, or I don't know if he was a psychiatrist or psychologist, but he did hypnosis on a client, on a patient who had some kind of phobia that they couldn't get rid of out of doing all of the traditional therapies and stuff. So he's like, just go back to the origin of the problem, because she was afraid of water. And then all of a sudden she's telling this whole story from a different time period, and then her symptoms went away. So and he didn't even believe in past lives, and neither did she. So that was really cool. So that book is called Many Lives, Many Masters, and Brian Weiss is now well known for his work in the past life stuff. So you could find his YouTube guided meditations easily enough. So you do that as a way to access it. Another way would be with a hypnotherapist, where they guide you through it. I have friends who are intuitives who I had sessions with them where they guided me through one, and since they're psychic, they're seeing the past life alongside me, the client. So they'd be one step ahead. So I'd be like, oh, it feels like it's this. And they're like, yep, because they're seeing it too. And I've been on the other opposite side of that now as a healer and a intuitive, where I see the past lives of my clients sometimes. So I know how it works to be guided through it with somebody who also is kind of with you on the journey. And another way to access would be either through daydreams or regular dreams. I know a woman who has very vivid dreams of her past lives, and that's where she gets all her kind of intuitive information. So if you find yourself drawn to a certain time period or a certain culture, and it's kind of inexplicable, there's probably a past life connection there. So if you find yourself collecting things from whatever, you could be you could check in on that. Or if there's some weird fears or some weird patterns that just emerge after a certain age. I think I had a client that I forget what age she turned, but after a certain time in her life, she was scared of bridges. And my thought was that maybe she, or intuitively I picked up that she, I kind of saw her car, a 1920s car, going over a bridge. And actually just last week I had a client who talked about having a fear of bridges. And when they said that, I saw a war vehicle, from World War II, blowing up on a bridge. So, sometimes these weird things that we can't, hi Nancy, that we can't explain might have an origin in another time and place. My good friend Rebecca Lynn, I'll have to tag her, she is excellent at pinpointing your past life experiences and brings clarity. So sometimes I'll get a glimpse of a past life and I'll be like, can you fill me in on this? So she and I will do a session, and it's really awesome. I don't know what else to say here. I wrote myself some notes so I don't totally go off track. I don't really have a lot because I didn't want it to be like a super duper long video, but my own children have been, like, you're kind of like an archetype, so you're always, you know, one of a few categories. I was just thinking about this Facebook Live this morning, and I was looking at past life archetypes online. So actually, on my business page, there's a link to a quiz. So right, if you were to just scroll past this on my business page, you'll see it. They do ask for your email, which is annoying at the end because you don't know, but that's how they get you. But it was good, and they came up with 4 typical lives of me. And being a healer, I had a life as a monk, of course, and I was another type of a healer, and I forget what else. It said something like I was an infidel, like, you know, basically I was not appreciated for standing up for my beliefs, which I know. The neck lines, like, that's something I learned, like how many times you have rings in your neck is how many times you've been hung in a past life. How do I confirm this? I don't know, other than my own experiences, but it's interesting to see. Or like sometimes birthmarks, they say, are like death marks. So, you know, like shrapnel or exit wounds, like from a past life, come up as a birthmark in this life, and it's pretty fascinating stuff. But my 2 children are, I guess just over time I've kind of picked up on it, and then I've talked to my friends and we've tuned in and stuff. But my one is like always been a warrior, and swear from the time he was a baby he would like have a sword in his hand and, like, you know, a gun. Like, he always loved weapons and still does. And my other son was a monk like forever. And so it's really interesting that the 2 of them are brothers in this life, and they have such a balance to each other. It's really pretty awesome. One time my older son was listening to, I think I just did a guided meditation for him, and he was stressed out at night going to sleep or something. And I was just like, basically, it wasn't for past lives. I was just like, you know, breathe in, breathe out, picture a place in nature that makes you feel good. And he's like, I said, so where are you? And he's like, what did he say? Like the Northeast Asian woods. And I said, well, look down. I'm like, ooh, this sounds like a past life. I'm like, look down at your feet. And he was wearing sandals and an orange robe. I'm like, dude, of course you were like a Tibetan monk, you know? So, and he described the trees being really tall. And then we went and looked online to see what the trees are like in Northeast Asia or Northwest Asia. I can't remember now, but it was somewhere he'd be like in a retreat, like in a, you know, monastery or something. And it totally matched. And the past life exploration I've done has been confirmed by like looking things up. Hey, Kara, looking things up, because you'll have like this knowing. So whether you do the guided meditation or you have it with a hypnotherapist or you have a dream or whatever it is, however you're able to gain that access into a past life kind of knowledge, you'll be like, oh, it feels like the 1860s. And you're like, how do I even know what 1860s feel like? But you'll just have like this feeling, like you'll just know. And I had one life in the 1860s. That's why I say that. And I was like in a like a girly dress, and I was like 4 years old or 2 years old, like somewhere in the 2 to 4 range. And it was a lifetime with my grandma. And we were playing under a table, and we were all fancy and dressed up. And it was, you know, of course my grandma was my sister then, but it was really cool. And I had another life where I looked down at my shoes, and they looked like Amelia Earhart shoes. And it was like, I guess, what's that, like the 20s? And I look up like 1920s Amelia Earhart shoes, and they're the shoes that I saw. And it was a lifetime where I was like in the traveling circus with my one brother. It's so funny. So you have like these soul families that you travel with, and, you know, kind of run with, you know. So my husband's been my soulmate, you know, or you could say twin flame, forever, or at least all the lives I can think of, like many of them. So you'll see a life, and you'll just know the time period it was. And the idea is that we're progressing and shaking the patterns and getting better at living with each other as we go forward. So no one's killing each other in this life. That's good, because I know that he killed me at least once. But it's fun. It's very insightful, and it gives you, hey there, it gives you insights into why you are the way you are. And it also helps you recognize and then release the patterns that aren't serving you anymore. So it's nothing to be scared of. And for me, I've been doing this for like almost 10 years. And it wasn't until just recently that I've kind of gotten a glimpse of like a not so positive outcome from lifetimes. So if you wrap the intention with like, show me the best life possible, or a happy life, or something that's gonna be not scaring you, then that'll be the life that will be revealed to you. So like I saw something recently with like witch burning, and it made me cry, and I was like, ooh, like I felt that was deep. And I of course I kind of always assumed that once I started getting into this work that I probably was burned at the stake at least once. I know I was hung like publicly, and you know, stood up for my beliefs and was like, F you all, you know, and I, you know, happily let my life be taken. But if you don't want that kind of scary insight, you probably won't get it if you're not ready for it. So I can't make any guarantees, but always wrap the intention behind like this exploration of being something that will serve you and not, you know, hold you back or scare you off. But yeah, I don't know. I could go forever, but it's just a good time, and it's insightful, and it helps you release and let go and be a better person. So if it's something that interests you, I don't know. Like I said, check out the book by Brian Weiss, Many Lives, Many Masters, and he's written many, many books since then, and they're all awesome. I've read as many as he's published, I think, at least since 2012. I don't know if he's written anything since then, but up until that point, I read every single book that he wrote. And you know, if you have somebody you can trust, I mean, I can get an insight when I'm working on my clients, but I can't guarantee that I'm going to do a past life reading on you. But my friend Rebecca can, my friend Joanne, and probably I imagine Janet. So I can tag all of them in this, and you could always talk to them. But yeah, I don't know. That's all. So hopefully that was cool for you. And if you have anything, hey Angela, you want to share, you know, feel free to message me, or, you know, put it in the comments or whatever, because I love hearing that stuff. It's really very cool. And I'm sure there's some detail I've forgotten, but feel free to share this post and go to my webpage and subscribe to my emails or anything like that, because I'm always having some kind of workshop or class coming up. And I love building the community of spiritual people. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you soon.